Hello class, I'm Melissa McLaughlin and this is my presentation of the visual argument for my position essay. The argument that I made in my position essay was that Facebook should begin to implement stronger or higher levels of regulation for pages that claim to be legitimate news sources. Some people might not like the idea of an extra level of regulation on Facebook because that means that translates to censorship from Facebook, and some people are afraid that that means that Facebook will only allow users to see what Facebook wants them to see. And I would argue that most of the people that believe that are people that already follow news sources that might not exactly be credible, but some people choose to follow news that kind of already goes along with what they choose to believe. A solution that I made, a suggested solution in my position essay was that Facebook adopts a transparency policy for sources, and that includes not only news, but say things like political advertisements, anything like that. If we could at least see the source, it might help people use better judgment when deciding for themselves if something is accurate or not. Here is the image that I created to use for my visual argument. As you can see, the rhetorical components that I've used in this image are exaggeration, font, and color. And before, like in my first slide, I used symbolism with the Pinocchio type image, kind of showing, a Pinocchio coming out of a screen that says news. So that's symbolism. And here, this is kind of silly, just a few things across the page that I've used to kind of get my point. We can see that this is like a personal Facebook page. And my argument isn't that people should not be able to post these types of things on their own personal page. My argument is that if people post things like that, people should be able to see where they're coming from. And here I've kind of created this image to show you. Here's this guy. He might be kind of like, I don't know, kind of crazy, but he could be anybody on Facebook, and he's posting this kind of like absurd news thing, and it, kind of looks like it could be a real news. You can't see, where he's posting it from. There's no link or anything. There's really no other information, but you kind of just like take this, some people might take this for fact because they, you might think it doesn't happen that often, but really things like this happen pretty frequently. I know this is a silly example, but it's actually a serious thing that happens. And I put over here kind of just some people that might be Engel's friends commenting on his posts. And as you can see, there's like 50-50, that number might be give or take. People that look at something like this and think, oh my God, this is actually like breaking news. This is crazy. I can't believe regular news didn't tell us. And like some people, who have maybe better judgment, this type of thing, can tell that it's fake and they're like, oh, what's going on? Like, but again, this kind of is a silly way to show that this actually does happen, and maybe allowing us to see where something like this came from would help people be able to tell what's real and what isn't a little bit better. I imagine this one is pretty obvious where I imagine this being displayed. It would be, this is someone's Facebook wall, and This is something that I made. I don't know if that's obvious, but a Facebook wall might be viewable um, from any one of a person's friends or anyone if they have their Facebook public. Some ideas that I chose not to use. Um, this is the first one, and I kind of liked this at first. You know, I used the box figure with like Facebook in the background so you can kind of see, you know, why it might work with my argument, but at the same time, again, and it goes with like that kind of ridiculous news, breaking news, you know, at the bottom. But again, this kind of doesn't give enough context to really be usable for my argument, so I chose not to go with this one. And this one's a little blurry and not really as put together as some of the other options that I had to choose from. I thought about using this just because you can see, well, it says fake news in the image, but you can see the flat earth in the picture. And believe it or not, a lot of people, maybe, so a lot of people actually think that earth is flat. And this one's kind of silly, and so I chose not to use this one. Because I know the image I did go with was silly, but at least it was, you know, hopefully obvious that it was like a person's Facebook page. And this one is just not really believable by anyone. I think they would recognize the clown from it. Here are the links to the images I used in my presentation. And I will end this presentation with my last image, which is, of course, silly also, some words of wisdom from our 16th president. And that has been my visual argument presentation. Ms. McLaughlin, thank you for listening.